Welcome to Larry's Library, and welcome to another edition of the Sunday Scan, where I read a single issue comic and I show you guys the cover and a few interior scans, and I'll talk about it for a bit. And this week, I'm back to reading my run of the original Marvel Godzilla comic book. And I'm at issue 15 this week, this one right here. And it starts out with a fantastic cover. Another great Herb Trimpe cover. And sadly, once again, we have no inker credit. And I actually don't see any signatures or initials on this one anywhere at all. But it is obvious to my eye that it's Herb Trimpe. And a couple of the databases I consulted also agree Herb Trimpe for pencils on the cover. But once again, we have no inker credit anywhere that I could find online. So if somebody has that knowledge out there and you know who the inker is on this cover of Marvel's Godzilla issue 15, this one right here, please put that in the comments below so I can update my database, and because I love to have that information. But anyway, this issue on the cover says Stampede, and I love this shot. Another great perspective shot from Herb Trimpe. So you got coming right at you in the foreground this stampede of cattle and Godzilla in between two mountains in the background. Love the red color in the back. It just pops with Godzilla's green skin. And you open this up, and right away you have another beautiful, excellent opening page by Herb Trimpe. Another great perspective shot. I tell you, Herb Trimpe, I think, is very underrated as a penciler. And man, his designs, his use of perspective, all of that is just fantastic. And it's on full display here, just like the last one that I did a couple weeks ago. Godzilla 14 had another great opening page. And this is the same. Here he's peering over some hill areas in the mountains, it looks like. And he's looking at all these carcasses of cattle skeletons. And this one's called Rome on the Range. And what happened in this one is he gets embroiled in this this plot with these cattle thieves as he heads west away from Salt Lake City, where he was at in the last issue. But yeah, in the credit box here you can see it's Doug Minch writing again. He writes the entire series with Herb Trimpe doing pencils, and a return of Dan Green on inks, which I'm really happy about that because I think Dan Green is a great match for Herb Trimpe. Really nice looking stuff. But this issue has several full page spreads that are really great. Splash pages, I guess you'd say. And this first one I'm going to show, he's kneeling down and he's like, you can see he's curious, and there's these guys on horseback that are trying to figure out what the hell's happening with their cattle, and Godzilla sort of sneaks up on them. Well, if that's even possible. I mean, they heard the rumblings behind him, and then they turn around, and here's Godzilla squatting down, and he's got his palm opened up here on one of his hands, and it doesn't say what it is. But if you look really closely, he's got some of those cow skeletons in his hand. And I think it's just curiosity, because he come up and they were already there. He didn't do this. But of course, they assume that he did. And so they're riding around him, and he takes that as an attack, and he shakes his tail at them and swats them out of the way. And, you know, the story describes that he's really still tired and exhausted from his battles with those mega monsters in the previous issues. So he lays down there in the sandy ground there and goes to sleep, takes him a nap. It's pretty cool. I'll show some of those panels. We cut back briefly to the carnage in Salt Lake City, and Red Ronin's head, his severed head, is still sitting there on the ground, and Rob Takaguchi is all worried about what's going to happen to Red Ronin. Are they going to rebuild him? And, you know, the S.H.I.E.L.D. guys assure him they will gather up the pieces and rebuild him. So Red Ronin should come back, hopefully. So there's at least one more fabulous full-page splash, which I'll put a scan up for sure, in this issue with some just beautiful color work here too. And yeah, it's great. And we see some things here that you never saw in any Godzilla movie, to my knowledge. You know, you never saw people trying to lasso. You never saw cowboys trying to lasso Godzilla. That's something that only happened in the American Marvel Comics version of Godzilla. And I thought that was a really fun thing to see here. Something, you know, Marvel brought something to the Godzilla table here that just had never been before. I mean, one, it's set in the Marvel universe, so you have interactions with other Marvel characters, superheroes, and S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, which I find just awesome. And then you also have stuff like this. He's wandering through the U.S. Midwest and encounters cowboys and cattle thieves, for that matter. So yeah, this is going to be a two-parter, it looks like, because this issue ends with him crushing the ranch of one of the cattle thieves. But the cattle thieving plot hasn't been revealed yet. But they are, the guys doing that are quite happy that Godzilla appeared, well, until he crushes their ranch, because, it kept the heat off of them, because everyone assumed that Godzilla was eating this cattle, and then he was leaving these bones everywhere. But actually, it was some plot with these criminals. I'm not sure what yet, but it's going to unravel in the next issue, I'm quite sure. So if you want to see that, come back in a couple weeks, and I will read Godzilla 16 and show you some scans from that one. So next week I'll take a break from this, probably go back to the Cobra series, and I'll alternate between them until I get through all of them. But I hope you like taking a look at all this fabulous late 70s Marvel art here. Herb Trimpe goodness with Dan Green inks. Love it. Hope you guys liked it too. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.